Okay. Sorry about that. Forgot to get off the Wi-Fi here in the building. It's terrible. So I think we're all set now. I will start over and say good Sunday afternoon. I thought since I would really want to get out of my house today before I was back on kid jail this week that I'd come and do a quick little Easter project with you. So maybe talk to some other humans that are older than 6. So we'll see who all pops on. Okay, so I'm gonna adjust my camera here so you can see what all I'm working on. Okay, so this is what I was wanting to make today for a little Easter project. He is super easy, simple 3-plank sign. Since I've already made him in this brown stain, I was thinking I might make him in a gray today and then change up the bow a little bit to maybe be the black and white check instead of the cream looking lattice ribbon, or maybe play with adding a tail or something to him. But I'm just gonna do my thing and hang out, and if you guys want to chat, I'll kind of talk through the steps I'm doing in case you decide you want to buy some wood and maybe attempt this on your own. These are what, 1x2s, 1x3s. And what I'm going to do to start out is stain my wood. And I have my favorite gray stain here. It's water-based gray stain. Unfortunately, Lowe's is not going to carry this one anymore, so I think Home Depot has a pre-mixed gray. And I'm going to check that out before too long because this is almost gone. And he's definitely a favorite in class for this color. So, a little stain out here. This stain's wonderful because it comes off of your hands and it doesn't smell. You can use it in class. So what I'm going to do is take some baby wipes. If you don't have baby wipes at home, paper towels are okay. Any kind of t-shirt cut up would work too. So I'm just going to stain these 3 pieces real quick. And I'm going to stain the whole piece of wood because after I go over top of it with my paint, I'm going to distress it with a sander. So if I have this gray stain up underneath my white paint everywhere, then that gray will come through the paint when I sand it and kind of give me that farmhouse look. So I'm just going to tap it real good into all the little crevices too. I want it to be in all those little cracks and things. And I'm going to go down in the middle a little bit so that when I put these together. Hi Coy, I just saw your comment earlier. So if you can't buy a craft, you can watch a craft, right? I miss all my regulars, peoples that I talk to in class, so I was hoping I'd see a few online today. We could chat a little bit and catch up. So for those of you that bought this kit and are making it at home, if you can't make it today, you can play this back anytime and make it whenever it's convenient for you. I'll save it to the feed. Now I just want to go down a little bit on the inside so that you don't see any of that natural wood when I assemble it. What's everybody doing today? Am I the only one that's escaping the house? I did go to Lowe's today, which is probably a bad idea, but I had to get some things to keep me busy this week. So hopefully you're out enjoying the nice weather a little bit. This week looks like it's gonna be like really, really nice to be outside. So I got some grass seed to work on my yard a little bit. All right, I'm just filling in the gaps here. My bunny's gonna be like right about here, so I just want to really focus on that area, make it sure it's covered well. And then what I think I'm gonna do is go ahead and assemble it real quick and then hit my edges. So just gonna flip it over. Line it up here on the bottom. Then I have these two little pieces that I'm going to use. I like to use these for my frames, but they work really good on bracing pieces too. So just going to use my brad nailer to attach this. Okay, now she is all one piece, so I'm just going to quickly do the edges here. Koi is on her way to Colorado. Ooh, that's kind of a hot spot. Are you kind of nervous about going there, Koi? I was just nervous about going to Lowe's, but most people seem to be adhering to the 6-foot social distancing rules, and they had their guards up at the register. But there was a lot of people out shopping, probably all like me, wanting to have something to do this week or get to those home improvement projects you never have time for, right? I know I'm going to do some painting in my kitchen and touch up my cabinets. I painted them like 5 years ago. Okay, so I have all of this covered. So I am done with the stain. So I'm just going to quickly dry just a little bit. This water-based stain really goes on like paint, so it dries super fast. Oh, that's good. Koi says she's not too worried because she's not going to be around a lot of people. Colorado, I know, has just been hit hard too, so. Okay, so you can't really see here, but I do have my bunny cut out. And so he's so big and such a big image without a lot of intricacies. I'm going to just pull him out like a sticker instead of like I normally use the transfer tape. I don't really think I need it for this one. I think I can just save a little of that and peel him out. Now watch me say that and I'll mess it up, but all right, so I'm going to kind of place them almost to the bottom here. I'm just going to smooth it out. I'm still going to take my paint tray though and rub on it. Get it stuck down to the wood really well. So this is covering up my gray stain, so when I paint over top and I pull the sticker off, it'll be gray underneath where the bunny is. And I'm trying to rub a little bit into the crack there. This is the trick with plank signs, you know, is you don't want to get the paint up into the crack so that it gets onto your image, the bunny image. So you have to be careful about the direction of your stroke when you're painting. And then also trying to get it kind of pushed down onto the crack too. Okay, so he is on there really well. So I'm just going to take my white paint, which now that Hobby Lobby is closed, I'm kind of stressing out. Oh, there's yucky in there. I'm kind of stressing out about paint supplies and stuff. I'm going to have to order online, I guess, and hope for the best. Okay, I'm going to take a Bay brush just so this doesn't take as long. And I'm going to brush away from the stencil so that I'm not pushing paint up underneath here. I'm going to paint over top of him, but I'm just going to go this direction so that I'm not pushing that paint that way. And I'm going to cover the whole board and even my sides too. So it's okay on this part to go back and forth against the stencil. It's just this area here with the creases that you would just want to go one direction. I wish I could play some music during this, but I know that Facebook doesn't like that, so it is super quiet all by myself here. And I can only see, I think, my friends when they're watching. There's 7 of you, but I can only see 1. I'm getting down in. I've got a couple of little like crack areas here, which is fine. It just adds to the farmhouse look in the end when it's got some imperfections. So I do try to be somewhat picky when I buy wood at Lowe's or Home Depot, and it's really hard to find straight, nice wood these days, but sometimes you get lucky if you sift through all of it. You know, I've been seeing some really great take-home kits that people have been doing and posting the pictures of. So really excited to see those come out and people enjoying that. So if you still have a kit that you haven't done yet, please post your finished product. I would love to see it. Those kits have kind of kept me occupied right now. So that's been good. So I'm just going to turn and get the sides. really ever make anything for my house, so yesterday I made a little toilet, the wash your hands you filthy animal sign I actually made and hung up in my house, which is like the first thing I've made for my house in years. It looks so cute too, I love it. So this bunny may be going home with me today, since no one will see him here at the shop. Okay, so this first coat is kind of streaky, right? Even though I'm going to sand it, I don't want it to be like where you can see the stop starts on my brush lines. So I'm going to quickly dry it just a sec and then go back over just a little bit more to disguise that. So the reason I'm drying in between coats is because if you've ever painted with me, you've noticed if you try to paint before this is somewhat dry, you're just going to be taking paint off as you're trying to put it on. It just will pull kind of what you just put on there off. So you do want to take the time to dry between coats, because your second coat will go on so much better. So again, I'm going to try to brush away from the stencil when you come to the crease line. And it's definitely covering, like you can tell a huge difference between the two coats there. And you don't have all those stop-start lines on your brush. It's just one nice solid white. Okay, once I get this coat done, I will quickly dry it again, and then we can peel our sticker off and reveal our Easter bunny. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm not as concerned with the second coat on the sides as I am on the front. Okay, so another quick dry, and I'm using the cool setting on my dryer, which has got a little button I have to hold down. Now that we have the stencil on the wood, you always want to use the cool setting. Something I say over and over again. Your sticker has glue on the back, so if you hit it with the heat, it's just going to make it ripple and start to come up. So you want to always use the cool setting after you get it on the wood. pretty dry to the touch, not 100%, but once I get the sticker off, then I can put a little heat on it and dry it faster. So I'm going to take a little stick pin here. Gosh, my hands are dirty, sorry. I'm just going to gently, I'm going to go right here at the crease where it's easy to pick it up. And then gently peel him off. This is kind of the method we use for some of the kids' parties. If you did like a kid's birthday party, we'll do this. We'll have them paint the board, lay down a stencil, paint over top of it, and then peel it out. It seems to work the best for little ones to do it this way. Ta-da! Okay, there we have a gray bunny. He's cute. So I'm just going to put a little bit of heat dry on this now just to finish drying it out. There are some like super tiny, if you can see, there's some super tiny little bleed under right there. And what I'm going to do is take a tiny brush with my stain and I can correct that really fast. So I did the heat on that it will dry faster with heat, obviously, now that the sticker's on. Because I want to distress them with the sander, but you really need to make sure that the paint is really dry so that you get the correct effect from the sander. If you've been to my class, well, let me show you what I'm trying to achieve here with this one. See how this has kind of been worn down along there with the sander? That's kind of the effect I'm trying to achieve. And up here, there's a little bit of the darker stain underneath coming through, and that effect comes from using a fine, I'm just going to use a fine 120 sand grit. So this is my palm sander. If you've been to class, you've probably used this before. Super fun, super addictive. If there's anything you want to put on your Easter bunny list, it would be a palm sander, or Christmas list, birthday list. Every woman needs one of these is what I think. So it's loud, but I'm going to go ahead and distress the edges. So I'm going to go back and forth along the edge here with the grain of the wood. And then I'm going to try to wear down the tops. And then I'm actually going to go across the face of this too to get a little bit of the gray to come through. that didn't take long at all. And all of those imperfections in the wood that I was kind of tapping my paint down into earlier, those are all coming out in the wood after you sand it. So you can see some of those grain lines are coming through. Oops, I see the top I totally missed. Okay. And then the edges here, I've got it down to the bare wood. And it looks pretty worn down here at the bottom. So he's really cute, Farmhouse Distressed. I'm going to go ahead and paint this real quick. This is what happens when you're doing Facebook Live. You don't see the top of your project. Okay, so next I'm going to plug in my glue gun here and get some embellishments made for him. And I might even put a little bit of greenery. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. I should have brought a glass of water too. All right, so let me plug in the glue gun. I have my 3 o'clock glass of wine too. No, I can't paint without a glass of wine. It's just not natural. Alright, glue stick. So this rabbit has kind of a bow tie effect. I think that's super cute on this size project. So we'll do this one again. I think I'm just going to make this the black and white buffalo check. So let's go ahead and get our twine on there. And I probably have this wrapped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So that's a lot. Okay. I'm just gonna hold it with my thumb on one side and wrap it around 2, 3. Try not to make a knot. There we go. 3. 4. 5. Okay. So I'm just going to tie this in the back. No, I'm not. This is where having friends craft with you is helpful. Someone can hold the string for you. I'm going to scooch it down a little bit. That's really all there is to that part, is just wrapping it. And let's get some, I'm going to do 3 layers on the bow. So I'm kind of judging how big I want it. So each layer, what I'm going to do is glue them together on the back side where the seams meet, so that I don't have to worry about them coming apart when I wire it all together. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my 3 layers and then glue them along the seam. So I definitely want 2 burlap, but let me get the black and white buffalo check. This has been like the most popular ribbon this year. I just love it. It works for almost every holiday, I feel like. So I don't want this layer to be as wide. It needs to be a little smaller, and then the one on top of that will be a little bit smaller than that. So that's just a hair smaller. And now one more. So there's 3. You guys can see that okay? So let's see if that glue gun is hot enough here. So I'm just tacking them together. Doesn't take a lot of glue. You really don't want a ton of glue because then it's going to push through the layers and you don't want that. So just a tiny bit to tack it. I know we all can get a little crazy with the glue gun. So there's 2. 3. So they're going to layer up like this, with the seams facing underneath. So you can see these are going to be my little bowies that I'm going to fluff later. And I'm going to use one more piece of this to, gosh, I think I might double it up. I might do this and the black and white layer on top of each other for the tail. That would be pretty. So that they both hang down. I'm probably cutting more than I need right now, but I can trim it. It'll give me some room to trim it into the pretty tails. So this is going to get scrunched back behind this layers. If that makes sense, it's going to be in the back side of everything. And everything's going to get wired together here in a sec. So let me cut a piece of wire out of my nest of wire. Somehow I can never seem to keep this neat and tidy. So you want to just put them back the way you had them. So this piece in the back, then your 3 layers on top. And what you're going to do is put a wire around the center and twist it real tight. Oops. This is always the fun part. So much like grabbing it in half, squish it in half, and then get your wire around it. Okay, so it's kind of bent backward. I want it to bend, I want it to give forward. So after I've got it twisted tight, I'm going to push from the center out and make it turn forward instead of backward. And then I need to make sure my wire is kind of in the center here. It's a little to one side. I'm going to slide it over a little bit. Oh, go over. Okay. And this center part where the wire is gets covered over here in a sec. So it's not the prettiest, that's okay. All right, so you're going to pull your tails down, just yank them down, and then you're going to be able to fluff these little, still off center a little bit. So I need one last piece of burlap to wrap the center. So this is, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches long, and it's way too wide, obviously, so we're going to fold this in 3s. And then I'm going to use a little bit of glue to tack it down in the center there. Try not to burn yourself. This burlap is, you know, it's got holes in it, so that glue can pop right through and burn you. Okay, so that is tacked down. And so now that's going to wrap around here and cover up that wire and make it look finished. So I'm just going to trim this little piece of wire on the back, push it down flat. And I'm going to add some glue right to the center here and bring one side up. I'm going to hold it down a good 30 seconds or so and make sure that it adheres, because you're about to yank on it and you don't want to pull it apart. Okay, now I'm trying to get it as tight as I can as I wrap it around. I'm gonna pull it tight and then push it down. If you have your paintbrush handy, this is a great way to hold it and not get burned. Of course, I've got excess here, so I'm just gonna trim that so you don't see it from the front side. Whenever I use burlap, I like to put a little line of glue right on the cut edge because burlap likes to unravel. And even though it's going to be facing the back of the board, I always feel like if I put that glue on there, it just seals it. And I don't have to worry about it unraveling in the future. So I need my paintbrush to hold it down. Okay, so I'm still going to hold it tight because I'm about to manipulate it a little bit here and yank on it. So I'm going to pull these tails downward. I'm going to pull this to center and start fluffing it out. So I'm kind of thinking, I'm trying a little bit of greenery on here, and I'm going to do that before I actually glue it to the board. So grab a little bit of greenery. So maybe something like this would work out good because it's just basic and you can buy a big stem of it and just kind of pick it apart. So I'm just going to do, let me get my wire cutter, hang on. I don't usually do greenery with this kind of bow, so we'll see how it looks. I'm just going to tuck it in the back here where I wrap that loop around. That'll hold it plenty good. Maybe I've got it glued down too good. Trying to poke it through here. There we go. That way I can kind of tuck it in. I don't want it like way out. I just want it kind of in the background, I think. Yeah. So it's there, but it's not like the main thing you're looking at. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's, what do we think? We like that greenery in there? Want something different? I'm gonna take these and make the pretty ends on there. Cutting from the bottom to the top, and I have it folded outward. So fold in half outward, cut from the bottom to the top. And since this is layered, I cut the black and white just a little bit shorter than the burlap so that it layers. Sharp scissors are helpful when you're doing this part. John, my husband John is watching because I know he's interested in how to make a bow. Okay, there we go. There's the bow. So I think I'm going to go ahead and tack that onto the board. So I'm going to put my glue on the back of the bow and then place it where I want it instead of vice versa. Remember, you gotta act quick with hot glue because it does set up super fast. So Give that a hold down for about 30 seconds. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So now the question is, do I want to put a tail on the bunny or call it good? I was kind of messing around with this pink tail. What would I do with it? Where did it go? Isn't it amazing how things disappear when it's only you in the room? Let's see. Oh, here it is behind this thing. Okay, so I have this felt flower that I thought was pretty. I don't know if I like the pink with the gray and the greenery too. Can also just make a plain, maybe we'll just do a plain one out of burlap. I'll show you guys how to do that. If you've ever made felt flowers, this is kind of the same thing as making a felt flower. You're going to take a length and you're going to fold it in half like this and tack it down. And I don't really think I want him to have like a super huge tail, so let's go here. I'm gonna mess away. Okay, so now what you're gonna do in order to get the fluffy look of the tail is you're gonna make tiny slits all the way down. And you try to make them the same width apart. So see, I'm doing kind of like that, and you're gonna go all the way down the same way. This does take a minute. So this is how you would make a felt flower as well, or a version of a felt flower. There's lots of different cuts you could make. This is just one. And you could do, you could combine the felt and the burlap together. A color in the middle would be cute. Okay, almost there. Okay, so what you're gonna do next, I'm gonna cut my end off, make it even, is you're gonna lay it out and you're gonna make a really tight roll. This has wire in it, so it does help hold its shape, which is kind of great. And when you're rolling, you want to make sure you stay super tight and you want to keep the bottom even. So you don't want it to kind of go up in a cone shape. You want it to be flat on the bottom. That way you have a surface to glue to the wood. So I'm just rolling it up, trying to stay in a very flat line, rolling it tight. And we're about more than halfway, so I'm going to just do a little bit of glue and tack that as I roll over it. Okay, so you see the bottom of mine is flat. Okay, the middle doesn't go upward. It's all flat across. So I'm going to tack the end down where it ended. And then from the top you can see you have a cute little tail with loops. And you can kind of bend these down a little bit to flatten it out. And what I'm going to do is put glue on the bottom of this and then put it on my rabbit. There we go. And hold it down for a good 30 seconds and kind of smush it a little bit so it's flatter. Oh gosh, I love that. That's cute. Okay. Very good. All right, I like the gray a lot. Here was the brown. And here is the gray with a little bit of extra greenery and a little bit different bow. I like them both. Very cute. Okay, so thank you for watching. That was our Easter Bunny project for today. And I have a few other things happening here I need to work on. So I will post again when we decide to do another tutorial project. We've got a couple things on the calendar for later this month that are going to be on Facebook Live if you're interested. We just posted a new bumblebee door hanger or fence hanger that's going to be super cute. It's about 3 foot tall. If you'd like to get a kit and make it with us online, you can sign up like you would a normal class and do that. And I think it's the 25th of April. So we'll keep on doing some online stuff. Remind you guys that we are still here and being creative. And as I said earlier, we're going to continue to add to our offerings for the take and make kits. This guy is in the take and make kits. If you're interested in making this before Easter, I can send you a kit home and you can rewatch this and make it at home. So just go to the website if you're interested in that. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.